Welcome to my show, simply entitled Women Influencers. I am Veronica, CCIM, founder and CEO of Capstack Commercial, a commercial real estate company serving the greater Orlando area. This week, we have the fourth installment of the compiled questions that my guests have asked me in the past. Here are clips from the episodes of Heather Fernstrom-Border, Ines Hegedus-Garcia, and Rosie Tchekmeian. Please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe below. I welcome your comments and please share with someone who can benefit from this podcast.
I'd love to hear a lesson learned as you kind of were trying to find yourself and find your place within this industry. What do you have to share with the audience?
Well, you're right. Our backgrounds are so different in that I am an immigrant and I moved to this country when I was much, much older. And so I did not have the benefit of a community that would have welcomed me or supported me. And I found that I had to fight my way through that. And I don't want to use the word fight. Instead, I want to use the word promote myself. Yeah. And the way that I'm still looking for my voice, to be honest with you, and I'm already 60 years old, Heather. And so I find that when I connect with people like you, for instance, and really just have the courage to pull up my own chair to the table and let people know that I have something to contribute in a very respectful way, not to be so very bold bold is a good word, but not to be intrusive, but instead let other people know that I do have something to contribute. Because I believe that when people recognize that you are willing to contribute and that you do have something meaningful to say, they will in turn welcome you into their group or community. And so if there's one thing that I think I've learned is that it's okay to pull your own chair up to the table, be a part of a discussion, be a part of the conversation. Because in as much as you want to learn from other people, as I have learned from you today, Heather, I think that people can also learn from me and my diverse background and the things that I feel that I can contribute. So thank you for that question. I love that.
How do you manage to strike a balance between your role, not only as managing broker, an active member of the county planning commission locally, local, state, national involvement, kids, your husband, podcast? Can you share some strategies for maintaining a healthy family professional balance amidst such a crazy schedule that you have?
So a lot of people actually have asked me this question, and I'm always so appreciative of the question. So I've actually talked a little bit about Stephen Covey's books, right? First Things First, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which have actually those books have changed my life in the very beginning of me building my career. And so I lead a very calendar-driven life. And if you've never seen the YouTube video of Stephen Covey doing sort of a visual of the big rocks, little rocks, sand sort of analogy, that's really how I live my life. And so it's very easy for me after determining my priorities. For instance, my family is my number one priority. And I will say that it is much easier now because most of my kids are, well, actually, I'm almost an empty nester, but my youngest is still with us, but she's 20. So she's completely free. She has her own car. So we don't have to drive her to gym training or ballet lessons or anything like that. So it's a little bit easier. So that I will say. But I do lead a very calendar-driven life where the priorities that I've set for myself and my goals go into my calendar first. For instance, spending time with my family, vacationing is really number one right now. I bucket list with my husband now. So whenever I get an invitation to, for instance, serve on a committee and by the way, I was on the planning board for 10 years. Last 3 years, I was chair, but now I'm on the board of adjustment. So much easier. So that's good. it's very easy for me to say yes or no to certain things that go on my calendar, certain responsibilities that I'll take on. For instance, I have a team of 6 commercial real estate specialists in my company. Plus, I also produce. And you're right, it all kind of looks like, wow, she does way too much. But the truth is that if you're very good at keeping a calendar and you're focused, and I think the most important thing is that you are mindful about being present when you're doing something. Because you could be pulled in many directions, and all of a sudden, while you're doing something, your mind is somewhere else and you're not present. You have to be present. When I'm with my family and with my husband, I'm really intentional in being present so that you can really enjoy the pieces of your life that make up that wonderful and beautiful puzzle.
What would you like to see happen in our education system to create a more dynamic retail and commercial space? One thing I've realized is, again, it goes back to the conforming side, but what can we offer the youth and the next generation of realtors and commercial brokers and, developers so that they excel?
Sure. And that's a really, really great question. As a matter of fact, when you think about our youth and how very limited I think the offerings are when it comes to commercial real estate and real estate in general, you can see how it's not easy for the youth to even think about or know about a career in most especially commercial real estate. So I'll tell you a little story. Just about a couple of weeks ago, I'm very much involved in the CCIM organization, and locally here in Central Florida, we recently partnered with the Bethune-Cookman University in putting on a class which is called Foundations of Commercial Real Estate through the CCIM program. It's a 2-day course, and it's taught by that particular class was taught by Blaine Strickland, who of course is a speaker. He's also very well known in the commercial real estate industry. And just about Friday of last week, I encountered some of the ladies that actually went to that foundation course. And they're from BCU, Bethune-Cookman University, only to find out that they don't have a real estate program there. And there are many universities and colleges that don't have a real estate program. And if your question is, what would I like to see more? I would like to see more of organizations actually partnering with the universities, the local universities, and try to maybe establish a real estate program, because there is a lot of wealth building that occurs with real estate. And the biggest wealth building tool is owning your own real estate, whether it be a house or commercial real estate. And also it has a lot to do with small businesses as they go into commercial space. I think there is a vacuum, so to speak, with regards to that. As a matter of fact, I was just in a Zoom call with ICSC, and they were talking about how antiquated, right, our industry is, because we're still very male dominated. We know we're having challenges with trying to get the youth to participate. And what a great question. I think it really just boils down to being able to advocate for more of that type of education, especially in universities and colleges, because that's really where the light bulb kind of turns on for our youth. So thank you for that question.